we're going to talk a little. We're going to talk a little bit about the sales cycle as well as leads versus contacts. This is one that I always saw this diagram and it made my head hurt. I'm like, why does this matter? But it fundamentally is very important. And I'm telling you, if you can just get intentional about this from the beginning, it'll save you a little bit of headache down the road. So I would just encourage you guys to and I say this a lot, but learn this now so you can just have it a part of your business and then you're not confused down the road. There is a few steps to taking people. Let me just see what the next slide is. I want to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, do you guys know the difference between a lead and a contact? You guys ever heard of those? Have you seen that yet? Yeah, cool. So a lead is typically someone that you just got their information. You've connected with them. You have contact information for them, or they've come into your world through your website, maybe an open house. Open house is kind of a gray area because a contact is someone that you have a two-way communication with, right? So, and what's cool in Command, you can actually identify people as leads and identify people as contacts. You ideally want to get people to contacts as many people to a contact and as quickly as possible, right? You want to take all your leads and convert them into contacts. If you've yet to connect with anyone, like if you have them in your database, but you haven't actually had a phone call with them or had a meeting with them, they're still leads. Those are hot leads, right? The reason that this is really good is because as you get further in your business, ideally we'll track how many leads do you need to get a contact? How many contacts do you need to get an appointment? How many appointments do you need to get appointments held? How many appointments held do you need to get contract written? How many contract written do you need to get closed units, right? Does that make sense? So it's super important. Hi, Courtney. So it's super important that you guys are prioritizing, and also that's where the lead gen, and I talked about how many leads are you generating and how many leads are you converting, right? That's where those numbers come in, okay? But in any case, these people that you capture, you're going to capture them from prospecting or marketing, okay? Prospecting is typically outbound, right? You're going and you're looking for business, while marketing is a little bit more subtle, or vice versa. I actually always mix them up. Right? But in any case, you have two forms of marketing, two forms of prospecting, right? You have one that is, hey, my name's Hunter. Anyone that wants to connect with Hunter can. And then also, hey, Dave, how are you? I'd like to connect, right? So there's two kind of forms of getting business that way, okay? Anyone that comes into your world, I don't care whether they're a lead or a contact, whether they have talked to you or they haven't, they need to go in your database. I am telling you right now, you save yourself so much hassle if you get people in your database, okay? I need you guys to literally, if, I don't want to say this too early on in the class because you guys might doze off, but if nothing else you get from this class, I need you to get people in your database, okay? In your database. And I'm actually going to pause the class right now just so I can show you guys exactly what that looks like, okay? So you're going to open my phone. What's the best way to do this? Because we're on Zoom, I don't want to. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys my phone, okay? Because it'll be too hard to pull it up there. But I need you guys to get people into your database immediately. There we go. Good. Okay, so I had someone reach out to me on Instagram the other day and they started up a conversation about real estate. They said, hey, me and my husband have looking to purchase. The down payment is the thing that's been holding us back. I said, I'd love to connect with you, right? Got her phone number, okay? Now what? I have to have a system. You guys cannot just write her name on a sticky note and be like, follow up with this person. Well, you can do that, but do that alongside getting people into your phone. So what I always do, all right, her name was Caitlin, okay? So let me show you.
You're gonna tell us your system.
Yes, right now. So this is exactly what I do. And the good part is if you just have a habit of doing this, then it'll happen every time, okay? I first get them into my Apple contacts. That's the very first thing, right? So whatever kind of phone you have, get them into your phone, okay? So I got her information, right? She was a lead because she reached out, and then I started a two-way conversation, so she became a contact, okay? I have her in my phone. The next thing, and I would recommend just either having a habit every morning when you get to the office, being, hey, what leads did I have that I need to log in? Or just have the habit of as soon as they come into your world, just take 30 seconds and throw it in. Traditionally, I'd rather get it done right there, okay? But I'm gonna get her into my database, okay? The easiest way is to then go right into the command app. Hang on, log me out. Super easy. So as soon as I have her in my phone, I'm going to press contacts. I'm going to click on the 3 dots, import contact, continue. And then I'm just going to look her up. Caitlin Jensen. Okay. Continue. And then I would probably tag her as hot, right? I have a hot tag that, so every day when I sit down to do my lead follow-up, I know if I need to, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to tag her as hot. Okay. Continue. Okay. The reason that needs to happen is because then when I have, and it's kind of a 2-part system, get them in the database, but then you need to make sure you work the database, right? Because once I get to the office and I have a time block on my calendar that says lead follow-up, right? And maybe because she was such a hot lead, I might just take action right there, which is what I did. I put her in a text thread with my, so just, I'll show you and then I'll show you guys this. Okay. So contacts. And I actually have a smart filter. You can create what's called smart filters, right? So I have a hot smart filter that you could use, right? So then I could easily click right here and she should be right in there. Yep, Caitlin Jensen, okay? Perfect. So then I would have Caitlin's name up here. I would come into either notes or add activity, right? I'm gonna say just text, it was Instagram, right? But I would come in here and I would make sure that I say, hey, Caitlin is looking to purchase her first home. Said down payment was an issue, right? And then obviously the other thing I did was I immediately put her in touch with a loan officer, right? So I immediately, I got her, yeah, as soon as she told me, I mean, there was some conversation back and forth over like 2 or 3 days, just because on Instagram. And she was like, yeah, we talked to a loan officer last year. I asked if she'd been pre-qualified for a loan. She said, no, we didn't get as far as that. I said, hey, it's really worth just getting an opinion, whether you're ready to buy right now. Then I put her in touch with the same loan officer. I have a few loan officers I work with, but I put her in touch with the one that helped me close that other young couple I told you guys about just a few weeks ago. And so I just put him in touch. This one is, his name's Mike Brown. Yeah, I have a handful of loan officers I work with. He just did, there's so many good ones. I highly recommend Security National or Aries Mortgage upstairs. They are preferred sponsors of ours. Mike Brown he did such a good job on this last loan that I thought I'd kick him another one. And so basically I just put him in touch. I said, hey, Caitlin, Hunter here. Wanted to make an introduction to one of my great loan officers, Mike Brown. He and I structured that deal for that young couple that you saw on Instagram. They closed their first home for just $1,000 out of their pocket. And I said, Mike, Caitlin and her husband are potentially interested in learning more about low down payment options and what it would take to get them into a home. Is there a good time for all 4 of us we could connect? No pressure. Okay, and so now we have a call today at 4, right? That's getting people into the sales cycle, right? Another thing that you might do, I can show you something like, so I can teach you guys how to do this. We won't take time to do it right now, but hopefully you get into pick a few loan officers that you like, and then you can craft text messages. So I have one, if I do Melanie Swenson in my phone, watch this, I love this. Melanie Swenson is her name. I have this automatic message that pops up, watch this. So I have this pre-built message of, client, I would like to introduce you to Melanie Swenson with Security Home Mortgage. She's a sweetheart and really great to work with. She will definitely help us get the ball rolling. And then I say, Melanie, my clients, they/he, I said they/he/are/is looking to purchase their/his first home. You just craft the message once and then you just plan on just sending it out, right? Or you can rewrite it. I just try to be as effective as possible. Yeah, that's in shortcuts. That's in shortcuts. And I can show you guys that during my tech hour. But anyway, so I just want you guys to prioritize when a lead that then becomes a contact. And if they raise their hand, you freaking get on it, right? I want you to get them into command. I want you to log the conversation. And I want you to take action, okay? They're your closest person to a deal. Now, I don't know if Caitlin and her husband are going to be transacting, next month or in a year, but at least she knows that I am on it, Okay. So
yeah, like I did the same thing. The contact that I have in his name is like, I can't remember now.
yeah.
But anyway, so like I got a call from Jake at 6:30 on like Wednesday at night, and he was like, "Hey, so and so reached out. This is what I know. This is what I don't know." And right while he was on the phone, I opened command on my phone
Yes.
and I started the note. I didn't finish it, but I started it. And as soon as I hung up the phone, I finished the note. And I was like, "Hey, reached out to the loan officer today.
Yeah.
Find him a house tomorrow. Set a reminder for me to put it on my calendar to find him a house in his zip code."
Love it.
So like the very next morning, because he's saying, "Hey, I'm ready to go get a mortgage." Okay. And the next morning, I sent him 4 houses before 11 o'clock in the morning. Said, "Hey, let me know what you think of these ones.
Love it.
They're all in the neighborhood that you're lucky." And like he hated all of them except for one.
That's okay. Yeah, I love it. So just get action. I actually typically, I like to get on the phone as quickly as possible with someone that reaches out. So another example, I had a kid reach out. It was a referral from another client I closed, and what I did is I like to take action. I like to just show the clients that I'm ahead of it. Right. I don't like to be passive and have them say, "Hey, when can we set up a call between you and the loan officer?" Right. So he said, this kid reached out to me and said, "Hey, been looking to get a home. I've already been talking to loan officer." I said, what loan officer are you talking to?" He said, "Taylor Hendricks of Intercap. I've done 2 deals with Taylor." I immediately throw Taylor, right? I'm not going to be passive and let him go find another real estate agent. So I immediately send Taylor, who I know, the loan officer. If I didn't know the loan officer, I would call them and say, "Hey, my client," I would assume that they're my client already. I say, "Taylor, Colby let me know that he's been in touch with you. Excited for us to get to work," right? I'm assuming that we are a team already. "Is there a time this week or next week that we can all hop on a quick call to identify our game plan? When works for you guys? Thanks," right? Like as soon as someone comes into my world, I'm immediately like, "Hey, let's get the ball rolling." And obviously you got to play it by ear a little bit. Don't like overwhelm them. But I just would rather be the person that is active than reactive, right? I never, and this is this is not just for buyers or sellers. This is at any point in your real estate career, you do not want your clients to come and ask you questions. Ideally, you've already answered them, right? Ideally, you've already, done a good enough job. And certainly questions will come up, but like nothing hurts me more as an agent. I feel like my self-esteem as an agent than when a client comes for an update or asks for a question or doesn't know where I stand on something, right? Like I just want to be the agent that's in front of them. Okay. Sorry, that's a kind of a little blurb. Is there any questions? That was on topic, but also kind of in depth. Is there questions on that? Yeah. Yeah. The only other tag that I would initially do is probably the first and last letter of the first letter of their last name. Just so if I do elect to put them into my sphere of influence and I put them on my full 36 touch plan, which we'll talk about here in a minute, actually, then I can go through it. You could also maybe do like first time home buyer or something like that. You can kind of tailor it to your business. For me, just the most important is really hot. And let's table that because I'll show you it here in a minute. But certainly hot, just because, and then no, it's not enough just to label them hot. You have to have a calendar event that reoccurs that tells you to follow up, okay? Because if I just tag her as hot and then I never sit down and actually do my lead follow-up, well, then I'm never gonna talk to a hot lead, right? And again, if they're hot enough, it's worth just kind of, my personal opinion, if it's hot enough, just stop what you're doing, take the 2 minutes to get things situated. Because that is like, that's, as an agent, a hot lead is the most important thing probably to your business. I don't know why I got cited. Yes, she on Instagram. Yeah. So we just, I got this new app that like, it basically like shuts down all of your social media apps. It's more intense than just the Apple one. So I literally have to come in here, I have to wait 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I can snooze the app. Okay, now I can go back to Instagram. I have a problem because if I don't do that kind of stuff, I'll get on and I actually don't have any notifications on my social media, but if I just go hopped on, I'll be like, oh, I'll quickly go. And the next thing I know, I spent 10 minutes on it. So yeah, she just reached out. So this was, I don't know if you guys, I posted this little reel right here. So I just told their story and she responded and said, wait, what? If I could do this, we totally could buy something. Okay. And so I just struck up the conversation, got her phone number, and now we have a call today at 4 p.m. Yeah. So just trying to add value to people and then get them into conversation. I really do want to get on the phone as quickly as possible with people if I can. Just I feel like it just establishes you not only as their real estate agent but as the local professional. Just I don't know. It's just important to me to be that for people.
Been my experience that like if people have a question,
Yeah,
they're gonna keep asking.
Yes.
Until they get an answer. So if you don't answer them quickly,
I love that point. Yeah.
Somebody else, they're gonna get the answer, and then you've lost out.
Yeah.
So it's more than what you're letting on to why you need to jump.
I love that, Dave.
People are gonna just keep, I mean, if you need to fix your bathroom in your rental, are you gonna stop calling after the first guy and wait for him to call you back?
Nope. Such a good point.
You're gonna keep calling until you find that guy that says, "Yeah, I can be there this afternoon. We'll take care of it."
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's why you gotta just like that's what I learned from my first mentor was just like
I love that, dude.
Customer service just has to be there.
Yeah, I would ask you guys to ponder too. Has there ever been a situation where you felt over communicated? You're like, man, this person's communicating to me too much. I think that you'd probably, I think that we'd probably all agree that more communication is better than less communication, right? Like being proactive is better than reactive, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about right here. Real quick, leads form relationships, contacts, strengthen existing relationships. Okay, so this I'm honing in on this. It's not as like doesn't need to be as like strict as maybe I'm kind of making it to seem, but it's just important to know that leads are people that come into your world. Contacts are people that you're already nurturing, okay? Again, it took me a long time to really understand this, but it's pretty simple and it's actually pretty important. Because once they come into your world, into your database, and then you bring them into a contact, prepare contacts for conversion, okay? That is what you're gonna be doing every time that you're reaching out to someone and adding value, right? They're selfishly, right? You're hoping that you can get them closer to a real estate transaction. So not selfishly, but because you guys are awesome realtors. You guys, these people need your help, right? So anyway, you're preparing them for conversion. This is also where you would give MOFers, make offers for immediate response. This is where you would offer value. This is where you would say like, hey, have you heard about all of these amazing incentives that builders are offering? Did you know I just purchased my house for 3% less cash out of pocket because of the incentives, right? So anyway, what happens then once they convert, right? They come down to step 4, client and referral loop, new and repeat. So you'll get new business from them, they'll repeat, and then they'll shoot you referrals. This is super important right here. Once you transact with people, they'll repeat, but guess what? If they kick you a referral, this referral then goes through the same process, right? Becoming from, right, that you get introduced, they come into your database, you take them from a lead to a contact, you give them value, you nurture them, they become a new and repeat client, right? So that's kind of the sales cycle there. We've already honed in on this right here. This is just diving just a little bit deeper. Any questions on this? It's pretty straightforward, right? One last time. Someone comes into your world, you get into two-way conversation with them, you nurture them, you sell them a house, and then you sell them a house again, and then you sell their house a friend. You sell their friend a house, not their house a friend. That doesn't make sense. Okay, cool. That's fundamental. That is your job description as a real estate agent, right there. Okay. We do a lot of other things, but like if you can just remember, bring people into your world, nurture them, convert them, sell them a house, get referrals, you'll do pretty well. Okay. Focus on building relationships and take market share. Okay. What's next slide? Let's talk about that just for a second. Does that when we talk about market share, you guys fundamentally know what that kind of means, right? So there's only so many transactions that happen in a county in a given year or a given month or given week, right? Okay.
How many transactions happened?
What did we say the number was? I think we'll have to look it up. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere around. Does 2,500 sound really low or really high? Just in, yeah. Yeah, so I think Utah County, I think is 2,500. I know we could probably look. Go look right now. Are you on the MLS? I would be curious. Well, just go to sold. Just look at
Oh, right here.
Actually, well, you know what? This may be here. I'll do it up here, Dave. So just this is actually probably good activity. And this class is actually a rather shorter one, so I'm okay to take a few detours. I'm sure there's probably even a better spot to look at it, but this is how my brain instinctively. Oh my gosh.
All of Utah in 2023
sold 60 days.
So 35,571 were in the entire state.
35,000?
Why did I
If we
get?
just select Utah County. So right on the home page under the market statistics, you can edit the date. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And so from January 1st to December 31st, it was 8,348
In the state?
sales
In the county? Just in the county. All right, so
So-
8,000 in the county.
8,348.
Yeah, because look at this is saying that's a lot. That's way more than I thought. That's awesome. Maybe I'm thinking 2,500 came out of this. I don't know where I'm getting, or maybe that's how many realtors are in Utah County. I can't remember why that number sounds so right. Okay, so 8,000 transactions. Okay, so out of that, listen, 8,000, and I think that's just residential because that's not land. And does it say
Our office was 302.
302 transactions? No, we're more than that because Red Sign themselves sold. Red Sign sold 247 houses last year. So I don't know. But anyway,
Oh, well.
there's transactions to be had, right? How many do you get, right? Every agent gets a limited portion of that pie, okay? And so it's your job to take as much of it as possible, but ideally you're taking as much of it as possible from your people, okay? Not take, but offering your services and helping people transact, okay? This is super important right here. Gary Keller has honed in on this. Dave and Ivan and I talked about this a lot. Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction, okay? You have to have this mindset. I was telling these guys, there's been 3 distinct periods in my real estate business where I closed the deal and then the next day I was like, well, shoot, I don't have another deal, right? And I'm telling you, your job as a real estate agent is a lot more fun when you're always working on deals. It's a lot more fun when you always have people that you're helping, okay? And the way you do that is by having conversations consistent, okay? Certainly there will be lulls and there'll be slower periods, right? But ideally you are in conversation with people every single week. Makes your job a lot more fun, okay? Once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and stay in touch with them forever. Does that make sense? Every person that comes into your world is either going to transact real estate with you now, they'll transact real estate with you in the future, or they will refer you business. And that is the mindset that you need to have, okay? Now, certainly leads will be hot, right? Which is what we did with Caitlin, right? She's hot. She's right now, she's probably pretty close to a purchase. There will be other people that come into my world and I'm like, man, this is a cool person. I want to stay in touch. But you have to have the mindset right now. I need you guys to make that moving forward. We leave out of this classroom is that every person that comes in contact with you, they are your client. I want you to treat them as such. I want you to have a relationship as such. You are their real estate advisor. You are their real estate consultant. You are their real estate coach. You are their friend. You are their agent. You are their fiduciary, right? You need to have that mindset. And I'm telling you, once I got that, I actually feel like I got that mindset pretty early on. It was about after 4 transactions where I was like, man, I want to be this for people, okay? So I'd encourage you to get to that mindset as quickly as possible. It will serve you well, and it'll help you sell more houses for sure. Any thoughts on this? Have you guys, is that a mindset shift? Have you guys, or did you guys already kind of internalize that? Does that make sense?
I just want to say, like, our value squared presentation the other day was a little bit quite actually different than the first time.
Yeah.
It really emphasized service this time, which totally resonated because
Yeah.
Gary Keller kept saying all about the relationship. It's
Yeah.
all about how you show up in the world.
Yes.
I love thinking of it that way. That was a mindset shift for me in terms of real estate because I had thought, well, this is how you live your life and this is how you do real estate, but
It's one. Yeah. I agree completely.
Now, there's a quote that says, once you understand the way broadly, you'll see it in all things. And they're all related.
Yeah.
They're all just.
Yeah. Where the thing that I fundamentally love about our job is that it's not it really isn't our job, but it's our lifestyle, right? It's like who we are. I'm not just like, I don't go to work and I just like complete a function. Like everywhere I go, I'm serving people, right? Ideally, right? Everywhere I go, at least in some way, I'm helping people understand real estate at a higher level. Fundamentally, I think real estate's like the best thing that people could be investing in or purchasing or selling. So it's just, for me, it's become my lifestyle. So yeah, super important there. Cool. Not really lead follow-up, lead conversion, convert contact to close business. I wanted to. Okay, let's stay on. Let's talk about this just for a minute here. Okay, we're gonna. You remember if it skips to, where does it get to? Yeah. Okay. Okay, real quick, we're gonna just kind of talk about this process, and then we're gonna go into detail on each step. You already saw this when we saw that sales cycle: lead gen, lead follow-up, lead conversion, transaction. Okay. Today, we're gonna actually kind of break down exactly what these look like step by step. We're gonna primarily be more focused on the lead. Well, they kind of are really intertwined, right? Because once you get leads, and yeah, we'll primarily be in this category today, in the lead follow-up and lead conversion, and we're going to build that out for you today. But they're all intertwined. I want to just skip over this and get going. Okay, so who here have you guys by chance read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent? Have you guys by chance read that? Started? Perfect. Halfway through? Good. Yeah, if you haven't, I can send you a PDF version of it so you can have it for free. We have them for sale upstairs. I also probably have a copy or two you can borrow. The other thing too is on Audible. I recommend reading it though, because I mean, the Audible's fun, but actually looking over it. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, is your touch plan. Okay. Have you guys heard this term, the 36 touch? Have you heard that be thrown around? That can be very daunting. I will tell you, the most requested thing that I get from our agents, they say, hey, Hunter, I want to build out my 36 touch plan. Hey, I don't have a 36 touch plan in place. I want to look at them and say, it's because you're not willing to do the damn work, right? I'm telling you, because it's so dang easy. It really is, okay? It's really not as complicated as people make it out to be. And this is where I kind of want to switch to okay, we're going to switch to a class that I teach once a quarter. Let me just pull it up really quick. This is probably one of the topics that I'm most passionate about. I'm passionate about a lot of topics, as you guys can probably tell, but this is one that I think is really important. Thank you. Okay, so this is like, we're gonna kind of go away from, this is where I'm gonna put my own little touch on this class, okay? So this is a class that I teach once a quarter. I say I teach it once a quarter. I've taught it once, but I want to teach it once a quarter. But I built these slides because I really like this, okay? Have you guys read Atomic Habits? Such a good book, okay? You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, okay? Side note, this isn't just in business, this is in life in general, probably. You guys can probably imagine. This for me, fundamentally, like, you want a healthy marriage? What are the systems that you implement? Do you buy your spouse flowers once a week or twice a week? Do you tell them that you love them? Do you focus on their, like, right? Do you have a ecclesiastic calling, right? What do you do to serve in that capacity, right? The cool thing I think about this, and this is for me where my brain is like running at 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time, having a system in place will help you in every category of your life, right? And it's not to dehumanize its things, but it's to know that like I've got freaking ADHD and probably, and like I'm gonna forget stuff, right? So I like to build out systems. I like to just have checklists, so it takes the stress off my plate. So that's why I love this quote. This is the other quote that like I wish that I could tattoo this onto agents' foreheads. At the heart of your lead generation program, right, which we talked about, right? Today's kind of lead gen, lead follow-up, will be a large, powerful contact management database. The best approach to lead generation is to set up a model that you systematically execute. So to translate that, it's let's build you a system that's easy to repeat. Okay, let's build you a system that you just do it every single day, every single week, every single month. Really, my goal for all of my real estate agents is to make their life as boring as possible. I want to take out I want to leave the excitement to the negotiation. I want to leave the excitement to touring the houses, right? When it comes to sitting down and working, I really do want it to be pretty boring. I really do, because it's easy to follow, okay? So that's why I love this quote so much, okay? Next thing, do you guys know this band? I know Dave does, right? Okay. Ivan, do you know who this is? Who is it? Kiss. This is super important because for Halloween, I want us to all dress up as Kiss. You have the costumes?
I can't. I would have to shave.
Okay. Does anyone know, and I throw this up just for kicks and giggles, but does anyone know why I have this up here? The reason I have this up here is because this is a life motto. Keep it stupid simple. Agents complicate things. People complicate things. I sure as heck complicate things. I want us to keep things stupid simple, okay? Because that's a lot easier to follow than keep it super complicated. I don't know if that's an acronym or not, but okay. So we've kind of, let's see. You guys have probably seen this. We're going to be focusing on the left side of this, though. This is the lead gen model here, okay? So this can look a little intimidating, but I'm gonna walk you guys through it real slow, okay? So, I'm gonna walk you guys through the sales cycle right here. We kind of already talked about it, but basically, I meet Dave. Dave and I meet. Hey, Dave, nice to meet you. We get in touch, okay? He's no longer a lead, he's now a contact. For the next 8 weeks, I'm gonna build a relationship with Dave. Ideally, this is what we call an 8x8, all right? So this is directly from the MREA, contact made, 8x8. I have some examples in here of what an 8x8 might look like, but it might be drive by Dave's house and drop off a market analysis. Like, Dave, it was so great to meet you the other day. I want to drop, actually, there's a few steps before. But it might be send Dave a text and say, hey, it was so great meeting you last week. Would love to stay in touch. Invite you to be in my inner circle in my client care program, whatever it might be. You know, a week later, I might give him a call to say, hey, man, just, really appreciated our conversation the other day. I wanted to send you something. What's a good address? The next week, I might send him a thank you card, right? So I'm establishing rapport, but I'm also establishing myself as the local expert, okay? Ideally, you run everyone on this 8x8 program. A lot of agents skip it because they feel like they've already built enough rapport with people that they can just put them right into their client care program, okay? But I'm telling you, per the MREA, you run people on an 8x8. Now, if they're brand new into your world, I would highly suggest it. If it's someone you already know, you maybe aren't running an 8x8 on them. Like if it's your cousin, you don't need to maybe establish your presence with them. But you also do need to make sure that they know that you are a legitimate real estate agent and professional, okay? So 8x8, not as popular amongst agents, but Gary Keller teaches it consistently. They then get put into your client care program. This is why I think this is fundamentally the most important class or topic, because guess what? If you meet someone at an open house, they need to get dumped into your client care program. If you get a referral, they need to be in your client care program. If you meet someone at the grocery store, they need to get into your client care program, okay? because people in your client care program will transact real estate or they'll give you a referral that then goes through that same process. Okay. So it is a combination of smart plans and just tasks, and we'll talk about that right now. It is that 36. Where is it? Did I have it on there? Where did I have that? It's that 36 touch. Well, and here they have, when they initially built it, it was a 33 touch. Some agents do 50 touches, some do. Okay. Now I need to clear the air. It is not just a one smart plan because it's multifaceted, right? It's not, you can't just start one smart plan. But what we'll do today is kind of build it out and you'll identify which smart plans you want to use. Okay. We already talked about this right here. This is, see, I tried to, when you meet them, right? You immediately get them into your phone through command. Okay. We already talked about that, right? So Caitlin was that perfect example. I immediately get her into the database. Okay. So these are some examples of an 8x8. I actually want to focus more on the 36 touch program because that's probably a little bit more prevalent for you guys right now, because I want you in touch with your people you already have a relationship with. But quickly, I'll show you what the 8x8 might look like, right? Week 1, drop off a letter of introduction. Week 2, send a recipe card. Week 3, send a recipe card or inspiration. Week 4, telephone. Week 5, free market report. Week 6, real estate investment or house maintenance tips. Week 7, send a refrigerator magnet. Week 8, another phone call, right? So this is new people coming into your world. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I do really want to get to this. Okay. So this is the 36 touch system. Okay. We're going to watch a little video if that's cool. Okay. Okay. So just follow along. I want everyone to pay attention. It's a really short video, but I want you to just pay attention real quick. Okay. And we'll talk about it after. Oh, hang on.
How many times the players wearing white?
But what do you guys think? What else do you guys think? It was a great answer. Thank you.
In the mindset of, I want to make him my client. I want to sell them this. I.
Yeah. Certainly.
Maybe it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Erica. Sure. Yeah.
You can just a lot with real estate. And I'm probably like you, where I will get micro-focused on something and I'll miss the bigger thing. And so that's something my whole life I've been aware of, that just like focus on the bigger thing, focus on the biggest thing. Like don't focus on this little narrow thing that I'm trying to affect. So I've had to kind of restructure my whole mindset and just try to focus on the bigger picture.
Cool.
And that's what that video is. bigger picture truly is like our person that we're helping.
Yeah.
We're trying to help them. It's not about this transaction and making it perfect for us. It's our fiduciary duty.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, make their life boring. That was a really cool perspective. I never thought.
Yeah.
Of.
Yeah.
We're doing a good job.
Love it. Love it. Yes, you guys are all correct. And thank you for your input. The other thing that I think of too is just clients they have their own lives they're living, right? Like sometimes, like I had a cousin that bought a house without me, and I'm like, how did they not remember that I'm an agent and that and I've had conversations, and it's like, guess what? Because I didn't do a good enough job following up with them. I didn't do.
Right.
It's my fault that they didn't purchase with me. It's my fault that I let them purchase with someone else. Like that's on me. And if they had a good experience or not, like I'm to blame, right? In a 100% accountable type of way, right? But guess what? There's no malintent usually with people doing that. Guess what? They're just bombarded with other things in life. So this is what I'm going to say right here. Under the constant bombardment of advertising and marketing, the human mind becomes saturated by brands and can hold only a finite number of at any one time. The maximum. This is really good. I remember they say this in podcast. If you were to name 3 brands of chips, go. Right? It's like Doritos, Lay's, and what's another one? Fritos. Fritos is, and you know what? Most of those probably all fall under the same brand, right? It's like if people struggle to rattle off 4 or 5 chip brands, it's like, do they really know 4 to 5 real estate agents? They don't, guys. We have everyone thinks that everyone knows 10 real estate agents, right? It's like, dude, no. Did you guys know 10 real estate agents before you came a realtor? I doubt it. Most people probably know 2. Let that sink in. Most people they might follow maybe, or they might know of, but as far as personal relationships, you only have to beat out one other person. And that's not, I'm not just making that up. Like that is actual. Real estate mindshare positioning. Okay. 59%, and this is a little bit older, this stat, so I'd be curious to see, but most sellers know 76%. 76% of most sellers know one agent. 59% of buyers know one agent, right? You do not have to be, yeah, Erica. Unless you're in Erica's 6 real. Yeah, but so they might know them, but here's the thing too. It's also, you have to consider too, of the 2 or 3 agents that they know, which ones are providing value? Which ones are connecting with them? Which ones are sharing insights on the market? That being said, though, this is the tough part about being an agent. It's not necessarily the agent that is, okay, take this with a serious grain of salt. It's the agent that is in closest proximity to that person when they decide to make a transaction. Would you agree? Like if I have a need and I need it to be filled, if I have someone that is clearly able to fill that need and serve me, I'm going to pick the closest person in proximity. Even if that person hasn't necessarily been in touch per se throughout the last year. So take this with a grain of salt. There's nothing more important than staying in touch with your clients throughout the year, but especially when it comes time to transact, you need to be close, okay? Right? So the reason that you need to be in touch with them throughout the years is not only to establish the trust, but just so you never know when they're going to be ready or they're going to be ready to refer, okay?
A lot easier to stay in touch throughout the year than to go 8 months
And then
make that call.
cherry pick them when they're ready to transact or refer, right? Which, by the way, they will send that referral and they will transact with the agent that is in closest proximity. But the only way that you can guarantee that you're the agent in proximity is if you spend the entire year, the entire 2 years, the entire 3 buyers and sellers transact every 5 to 7 years, right? So the only way you're going to do it is if you're just consistent, right? That's what I'm trying to get at, okay? Because I'm so guilty of it, like we just get distracted, right? And things come up, right? So in the battle for real estate consumer mindshare, you're either first or second, or you're out of contention. You're either at the head of the class or you're with the rest and lost in the masses. What's so cool, you guys, is this right here. If you're not first or second, you only have to be first or second, right? Like that's it. That's it. That's all people know. I'm telling you, people, you name 3 insurance agents right now. Go. Do you know 3 insurance agents? Sure. And why do you have them?
Have to.
Sure. Right? It's like I can't name more than 2 probably off the top of my head, 3 maybe. You don't even like your insurance agent. What happens if change industries if a Courtney of your caliber comes into your world and adds value, connects with you, is friendly, helps you understand the business a little bit more, right? What does that look like? Okay. Same thing with real estate agents. And guys, there's a lot of bad real estate agents out there. There really are. So be that for your clients, okay? Okay, so we're gonna actually dive in. A lot of this class today, 10:22, is spending time on building out your touch points, okay? So in your computer or on your phone, and I'll talk about which ones I recommend. I think I go through them. Okay, so you have to be in touch with your clients throughout the year. Do we agree? Yep, okay, cool. Am I gonna call someone 36 times? Heck no. Am I going to email them 100 times? No, right? I'm going to have a blend of communication, okay? Some people too, you might alter it a little bit. Some people you might dial it back a little bit. But for the most part, we want to just make it stupid simple. We want to stay consistent, okay? So here's a handful of touch points that make up a 36 touch. I've listed them out here. If you come up with a new one, come up with a new one, right? This is not set in stone. There's not one set 36 touch plan. I want you to do one that makes sense for you, okay? Some agents build up 50 touch plans. Some agents have 100 touch plans. Kind of depends, right? Phone calls, events, micro events, email, text, holiday cards, listing alerts, pop buys, direct mail, birthday, home anniversary, wedding anniversary, okay? That one's a little trickier, for sure. Social media. Yeah, home anniversary, especially for clients that you've helped, right? So you build that one over time. So yeah, those ones are definitely come as you go. One habit that you should have as you're doom scrolling Instagram, which I sometimes and frequently do. If you see someone that has a birthday on social media and people are posting, I want you to immediately, even if you don't have their contact info, go create a contact for that person and get their birthday into command, okay? And get them on the birthday smart plan. So you can just have, just do that. Have the habit of when you see people's birthdays, do it. And also just be a friend. Like I had a young couple that I follow on social media get engaged. DM them both and just say, hey, congrats, that's awesome. You just got engaged. That's so cool. Like be that person that's just connected, right? So you can have a lot of touches. I don't have social media on here because you can't really quantify that. But for me, social media has been I met someone the other day. I had no idea who he was. And he was like, hey, you're that real estate guy. I was like, I don't even know you. He knows my older sister. He doesn't even have social media. I'm like, I don't even know how I don't know how he knew that I was in real estate, but I was happy that he knew, right? So I would put a very big emphasis on social media. For me is not a touch point, but it's my resume. It's my portfolio, right? So social media it doesn't have to be, but actually you should be on social media. If you're not on social media, get on it. Let's talk. You should be on social media.
Telling us is somebody else told us too, you should spend time on social media interacting with people. So comment on their posts.
Yes.
They have some, somebody posts about their birthday, wishing happy birthday.
That changes 100%. And it changes the algorithms too, because if you interact with people, the more you interact, the more they see your content. So yes, absolutely counts as I wouldn't. First off, let's establish this. There doesn't need to be a 36 touch. You can have as many touches as you need to serve your business, right? Some clients, I know there's a few clients that I only need 2 or 3 touches a year, right? And part of it is because they're just my friends and I already interact with them, right? So But yes, certainly you need to be interacting with people on social media. I just can't quantify it, right? Because I just have no idea exactly. No, you could probably say like comment on, you could have a goal, right? You could have a goal. Yeah. Comment on, yeah, DM. It's just hard because this is very specific to the like specific people. It'd be hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna go make sure I connect with them on their post. I don't know. You probably could make it a system. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just try to comment on everything. And that's just kind of I'd rather just everyone I see and everyone I know, I'm just, hey, that's awesome, congrats. Like, be the person that's just supportive, right? Um, and that for me has been my biggest mindset shift. I don't want to be the car salesman. I want to be the fiduciary that just everyone turns to that has real estate needs. And I just, whether I'm selling, like, I really do want, for my business at least, and I would hope that maybe you want this for your business too, is get out of the mindset of like I'm in this just to purely coach and counsel people through transactions. And guess what? I'll get rewarded for doing so. Okay, so real quick, prioritize the pyramid of communication. Okay, we're so quick to do the easy ones that require less effort, but they're not as impactful. Okay, one-on-one meetings. Okay, events and seminars, phone calls, handwritten notes, electronic communication, direct mail advertising. So I would really think about how can you get in front of people. That is one that I have not been as good at. I'll be honest, that and I'm making amends to that. I recently kind of picked up running. Yesterday, I texted over the last 2 days, I texted 3 people that I knew were runners that I could certainly be their real estate agent. I said, hey man, picked up running. Do you have any tips? Would love to get out on a run. That's 3 people that, guess what? I'm gonna now go on a run with them and have hours to talk. Okay. So just do stuff that you enjoy. Like, just see how you can lean into that. It'll also make your lead generation and lead follow-up just more natural too, right? Like, if you don't like it, don't do it. Any questions on this? Does this make sense? This pyramid here? Okay. Okay. The prerequisite for having a good touch program, a good 36 touch program, is that in Command, you can see your database health score. Okay. So if you go on the left and click on reports, and then I think it might just be the default login. If you guys want to look real quick, you can see right here. Command makes it really easy. These are the these are the data points that I need you to go get. Okay. Why do you guys think you need all of this right here? Yeah.
So they can be meaningful.
Yeah. So you can complete all the touches, right? That makes sense? Because like having most people have the phone number usually, but it's like, how are they going to get a handwritten note from me if I don't have their address? How are they going to get a market update if I don't have their email, right? How am I going to wish them a happy birthday if I don't know their birthday? Okay. So Command makes it really easy. I would make a goal to strive to, like, all right, this quarter, I want to increase my database health score by 10%, right? Just kind of go through and see where you're at. So that's super important, because none of the, well, not none, but right, that you can't execute on the touch plan unless you have that data points. Okay. Okay. So this is kind of where I turn it over to you guys, and you can let me know. So I'm going to go back to a second. So very quickly, not very quickly, but quickly, where do I have that? Oh, it's on the other slide. So this is kind of what the typical oh, come on.
While you're figuring that out.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can't, but now I can. Now I can give you my full attention here.
Sure, are looking at all those different touches. Like, is there a series of smart plans we're going to use, and then we're going to combine that with like a direct mail campaign or something like that?
Yeah.
Is there an umbrella framework for all of that, or is this just like?
Yeah. Perfect. So let's focus on the second one, and that will lead into your first question. So as far as a framework, this is kind of a typical one right here. So 4 phone calls throughout the year, bi-weekly emails, 2 events, and 4 either postcards, direct mails, maybe pop buys, right? So this has traditionally been the framework that I have ran, right? Quarterly phone calls. I have a marketer, Kaiten, that sends out an email twice a month. We have 2 events a year, and then, you know, I might do a birthday, I might do a pop by gift, I might do a thank you card. Okay. So this right here is kind of the framework that a lot of agents would recommend is like where you start. This is what I would say, like, if nothing else, run this. Okay. So yeah, look at that. That's hopefully that answers your second question. But what the cool thing is like you got to run your business, right? Now, as far as just one smart plan, I have yet to see, and I have yet to honestly really figure out how to just do one singular smart plan for the entire thing, just because it's so multifaceted, right? And things change. So you're maybe better off segmenting them just a little bit, okay? And some of them don't need to necessarily be smart plans either, right? But we'll kind of go through it, and I'll talk about how we might systematize it, right? But first thing you guys need to do is identify, what do you want to do? Okay, what are the touches that feel comfortable to you? Obviously, prioritizing impact, right? One thing that's not on here is like lunches, right? Or like dinners, okay? Right, that's a very impactful touch. However, typically the way that you'll remember to ask people to lunch is when it comes time to call them for the quarterly call, right? So these can lead into other touches. I was actually talking to my dad just yesterday, and he's done pretty well in business, and he said that he wants to start actually running a CRM for his friendships, because it's like you forget about friends. Like I'm literally like thinking about, and this is so cool. One of the kids that I reached out to go running with, Connor, he's a friend of mine from high school. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I don't like, I'm personally like, I love the idea of, for me, running the CRM has always just been about being a good friend. Like truly, because if you're just a good friend, like good friends support other friends, they'll end up transacting real estate with you. So, okay, I've talked a lot on that. I want to get to the actual meat and potatoes. Okay, so this is where I'm going to turn it over to you guys a little bit, and then let you guys kind of drive the last bit of this class. Which touch points would be most impactful in your business right now? Which touch points do you want more clarity on? Which touch points do you want more systems to? Which touch points are maybe most impactful for you? I have my recommendations, but I'll turn it over to you guys. What would you guys want to? And we might have time to kind of go through all of them, or we might not. So I just want to know where should we start?
So is your 36 touch for all of your people, or do you customize it per client?
Widespread, it is pretty similar. Okay, it's 4 phone calls, it's 4 phone calls a year, it's 24 emails a year, it's a pop by gift, it's an invite to an event, it's maybe a dinner or a lunch, something like that. So I would say it stays pretty consistent. One thing that you'll want to do too, I didn't preface this either. You're gonna want to go. You know how many people do we say you need in your database at least? It's 200, right? I want you to go also identify your top 25 or top 50. Okay, and I would do that ASAP. No, create a tag. Create a tag and then go tag them as top 25 or top 50, or just VIP. No, do VIP. I like VIP better. Go create a VIP tag, and I need you to go pick VIP. VIP are going to get touches that are a little bit more. These are people that like you're going to spend money on. These are people that you're going to spend more time on, right? These are like your close friends. You have a question? For me, it's people that I just freaking really like. It's past clients. It's people that I know that want to support me. It's my friends. It's people that I would spend money on, right? Because one thing that I haven't done, I've sent people like Venmo for their birthday, like $25. Hey, go dinner on me. Another thing that I want to do is maybe like have like a bunch of $5 crumble cookie cards and just go drop those by occasionally. People just like as soon as they pop in my head, just go kind of, randomly just go and do that kind of stuff. So for me, VIP is people that either I want to spend extended amounts of time with or spend money on is really kind of where I have kind of gravitated towards. I'll level with you. I do not have a great VIP like playbook, but I understand that like if you talk to Peter Morkel, who runs the Morkel team, he's wildly successful and he really focuses on his top 50. Like he's taking them to dinner like once a week. He's taking someone to dinner, him and his wife. They are, those are people that will get pies on their pie day, right? Like, so those are people that will get events. Like if you wanted to do a micro event and rent out a movie theater, those are the people you're inviting. So that makes sense. Yeah. 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 And I will say you will hopefully you'll probably get more business out of that top 25, 50 than any other group as well. Right. So yeah, past clients, people you care about. Okay. Which touch do you want to see how you might implement it in the business?
Just making sure. Pop by is like gifts.
Yeah. Pop by is you might literally just stop by and knock on the door. Right. Like pop by might be you just like I've got a friend that bought a house in AF the other day, a few months ago in American Fork, and I literally just called him at like 8:30 or 8:20. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood. Like, I would love to see you guys." And I just went over at 8 o'clock at night and just hung out with them for 30 minutes. Okay, so pop by. You don't have. Ideally, you're bringing something of value though. But like Lee Stern, she does her fudge. You guys, Lee Stern is coming in June. Don't miss a single day of her. Okay, she's been an agent for 50 years. Like actually 50 years, but she does a fudge campaign every year. Clients love it, so she'll go to every single client that she's ever done business with, which is a lot, and she'll take them fudge. She'll just stop by, talk to them. One cool thing about Lee is too, she never forgets a name either. She remembers all of her clients. So yeah, pop by is just going by their house. And those are kind of seasonal too. A lot of people will do like for fall, they'll do popcorn or candy corn, or Christmas, they'll do cookies or something. Again, though, those are be careful because those are ones that you're probably spending money on. So you want to make sure that you're getting a good, I hate to say this, but a good return on that investment, right?
Well, like young starting out, if you don't have like a lot of money to just go buy gift cards for somebody or something, like what Uncle was saying about just stopping to visit is good, or like bring them a market report or a
Yeah. Certainly.
The conversations could be genuine conversations. I can just go to the project.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think, the things that mean the most don't cost money.
Yeah.
So like handwritten card for anyone to just like,
Oh, yeah.
like a handwritten card means everything to me, and I don't even mean it.
No, yeah.
It shows that that person cares, and it, to write something, it's more personalized.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. When's the last time that you received a handwritten card that was just like, hey, thanks for your friendship. I really appreciate you. I agree. Cool. Okay. Which ones do you guys want to start with? Well, we'll just start going through all of them. That's the one I would hope you'd start with. Perfect. I didn't want to say it, but that's the one I want to talk about. That's the one you need. And listen, Dave doesn't listen. So we have our Easter event, right? Our Red Sign Easter event tomorrow. And I have been just swamped with so many things that I have been like, I'm like 3 weeks behind on my phone calls. I just texted everyone. But guess what? I made it a personal text message. I literally went in. Now I used a platform, and I can show you this later, that like helped me be very effective in doing it. But I took the time, because I had like a pre-built message, but I took the time to write like how was so-and-so? How are, haven't seen you since this date. Like, and I made it very personal. And I've actually gotten some really great responses. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not had clarity on my phone calls, right? And had the people tagged accordingly and so on and so forth. So I have said this, I will go to my grave saying this, even if I'm not always perfect on my phone calls, which I'm not, but I try to be, is that nothing will bring more clarity to your business than a good phone call, because you have the opportunity to set a lunch appointment. You have the opportunity to ask them out, right? Like, you have the opportunity to really gauge where they are. You have the opportunity to get their email if you don't have it. You have the opportunity to get their address if you don't have it. You have the opportunity to ask if they know anyone that's looking to buy or sell real estate. So typically, you're going to be calling people, just as a preface, with value. Okay, so we have some of these MOFers pre-built. I'll have Ritz send it in the WhatsApp if you're curious, but have a ton of value that you could use to call people and deliver. I really recommend calling around holidays because it's so easy. Like calling around, or events, right? Keller Splash, Keller Ween, right? That we do. So much easier when you can call and just invite people. Like, imagine if every time you call them, it's only to invite them to an event. Like, for me, that's the easiest phone call. It's like, hey, we got our annual event. It was so fun seeing you last time. Would love to have you guys there, right? Like, that's just such a different conversation than just, hey, Dave, you want to buy or sell, right? Certainly though, but I'm not going to say, if you don't have an event, still make your dang phone call, right? But just come up with some other form of value that would be valuable to them. So come from a place of value every time you make a phone call. And you know what though? Sometimes too, if you have a good enough relationship with them, it is just checking in, right? And that's fine too. Sometimes it is, hey, Dave, this is a business call. Do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell? You're such a great friend for me. Lifeline of my business is word of mouth. Would love to, help anyone that that might be looking to buy or sell, right? Okay, so without complicating this too much, I'm going to explain the system that I run. I think it's by far the most effective. I think that it is the most systematic. It does take the most effort to get set up, but it's not too much. So if it's okay with you guys, I'll teach you this one. This is what I would recommend doing. What's cool too is if you guys do it, once you've done it, it's set up, okay? Okay. Let me make sure. Okay, database segmentation. Yes, I have a whiteboard. Okay. All right, follow along. We're gonna go on a little journey together. It's not very good. Okay. I think a lot of you probably have seen this before, maybe even from me. So IA. We all know what SOI means, yeah? Sphere of influence, okay? You need to, for the sake of your business and just for the sake of what we're trying to accomplish today, you need to segment your people, okay? Now, if you don't have a ton of people, well, then your job's done for you, right? You just take what you got. I've got like 1,800 contacts right now. Certainly, probably 400 of those real estate agents, but I want to split that up, right? There's a handful of people that, like, frankly, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, I have your number maybe at some point, but I would rather spend my time on people that, like, I'm close with. So I'm going to try to get this down to 200 people. Right now, I'm sitting at about 200 people or 220 people in my business. So not like an astronomical amount, right? Clay Winder, who's been in the business 16 years, I think he's at like 400, okay? So let's say you have 1,000 people in total. And I'm gonna put 800 over here, okay? Not to discredit these 800 and not to say that they don't need a good real estate agent, but you just can't possibly stay in close communication with 800 people. Most people can't, right? We've kind of seen like 200 to 400 people is really like where most people tap out. Susie Love, though, who's been an agent for 18 years, 90 people, okay? And she sells a heck of a lot of houses. So kind of just depends on the scope of your relationships, but I need you to get to a top 200 for sure, okay?
All right, Hunter, is this total in your database, you want 200 to 400 people or in your A segment?
In your A segment, correct. Yeah, in your A segment, I'd like you to get to 200. That's just a metric that we strive for. It really isn't set in stone because there's agents that might be very effective with just 90 people, like Susie Love, and then there's people that are less effective with more people, right? So certainly the quality of the relationships is not just a numbers game. The other thing, let me tell you this. I'll be vulnerable here. When I first got into the business, I had 600 people or 500 people in my SOIA because I thought I know everyone. Like but if you have that many people, one is it's a lot of work, but two, you probably aren't in that close of a relationship with them. So then it sometimes will bog down the contacts that you have with people you do care about, right? So I'd actually say, is it more is less or less is more? Less is more in this situation, but do try to get that number up, okay? So I need you to segment. I personally just use a tag, SOIA, SOIB. So right in command, you could have SOIA, SOIB. If you wanted to even, you could leave SOIB out for now. Like if it made your life more simple, you could totally just leave B out entirely and just leave them in your phone. Now there is a conversation to be had of like what people will ask me, well, what does B get? Typically Bs might just get your emails, okay? Just because it's like, hey, I have their email. But really that's all Bs are getting from me. They're not getting anything else besides that. The reason though, and social media, yeah, too, yeah, true. So I'll let you guys decide. There's two trains of thought, both pro and against, why you'd want B. Because if it's a slow week and you need business, you can go say, hey, which one of these people can I turn into a contact? Can I run an 8x8 bond? Can I put into my client care program, right? So if the business is slow, I can take one out of here and I can try and convert them. So I have 201 over here and 799 over here, right? And so I have this book of business, this potential book of business, right? This is not completely cold because I have their information, right? They hopefully know who I am, at least to a degree. But if not, at least I know who they are because I have them in my phone. So that's the one thing about leaving them in command and leaving them in your business. I know Angie Fisher, I think she pretty much just leaves A in her book of business, in her command. So kind of depends on how you want to run it. I would just say, just do whatever's going to leave you feeling the least overwhelmed or help you stay more in touch with the people that actually matter. I hate saying that, but like the people that matter most.
So are they tags that were created?
Yeah, no, they're tags. Let me show you exactly what you would do just real quick because I want to make this super. I really do want you guys to be able to walk out of here actually taking action. So what I would do is I would come into command, right? And so I personally only have my A's in command. So I have a dirty little confession to make to you guys. My real estate business is ran in a different platform. Not because I want to, but because my real estate team is in a different platform. Brivity, yeah. And the only reason that Cody did, Amy did, yeah. I'll tell you. So I've been in 5 different CRMs. If I had a choice, not if I had a choice, I don't want to say it like that. If I was in your guys' position, I would without a doubt 100% use command every day of the week. Brivity has a few team features that Red Sign team needs to take advantage of right now. That's cool, that hopefully command will get in the future. My hope was that within the next 6 months to a year, we all transition to command, because it's just better for a handful of things. But I will say the most powerful platform you use is just the one you use, or the most powerful platform is the one you use. That's all that matters. But you'll notice, but I do have it. I do try to leave my command pretty dialed in so I can demonstrate. And honestly, all of these principles are universal, so it doesn't matter what system you're in, right? But yeah, the easiest way, Sarah, is you can create tags a few ways. So I can just click on some names, and then I can click on right here. There's this bulk action, and I can go to. I just skip it. Where is it? Add tag. And then if I just did like first time home buyer, it'll have me create a tag there. So the easiest thing that I would do is probably, this is what I recommend to agents. Once you have everyone in your command, I would come right here and I would show as many contacts as you can. So 500 is the most. And then there's two approaches. There's the Clay Winder approach, and then there's the other approach. I would probably just go through and I would just tag people, be like, yep, these are people that I'm in close relationship with. Yep, these are my friends. Oh, they're not. And then I would tag them as A, and I'd do the same for the Bs. Or if you really, really, really wanted to sell some houses, what you would do is you wouldn't even think about that, and you would just click in on the first name. You would call them, determine what they are, and then you'd press next. Call them, have a conversation, determine what they are, press next. Right? That's if I was to restart my real estate business. That's what Clay did when he first got into the business. He sat down, had a list of everyone he knew, and just started calling. Like it didn't matter to him if they were A or B, because he was going to determine that on the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my 2 cents. Does that answer your question of how you might segment it? Yeah, perfect. VIP is a subset of SOIA. And then obviously hot, watch and nurture, that's pertinent to active clients, right? And so that will ebb and flow certainly as your business goes.
So yeah, that's a good point. So when this girl reached out, you tagged her as a hot, right?
I tagged her as a hot, correct.
Undo that tag eventually.
Yeah, what I would do is if for whatever reason I will change it, because she'll either transact. So I have a phone call today, right? So I marked her as hot, so I knew to follow up with her. She'll either continue to be a hot. She'll either become so let me just write it down just so I don't mix it up. So, and again, this is more pertinent. This is not there's right now what we're talking about now. So hang on, I want to make sure I say this correctly. The SOIA and the letter, that is pertinent to lead generation, right? And client care, your 36 touch. I use the hot, watch, and nurture. So I use hot, which is like 0 to 30 days. I do nurture, which is like 30 to 6 months. And I just do watch, which is everyone else. Right? So that's kind of, you could kind of determine which metrics. That's terrible handwriting. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys can read that. Does that make sense though? So everyone in my SOIA, they also ideally might have a tag that is watch, nurture, or hot, right? Watch is just kind of everyone. Nurture, hey, they've expressed that they'll probably transact at some point. And that just helps me segment my lead follow-up a little bit more. But really, I'm primarily focused on these top two. It's like someone that said they want to transact, or someone that said they're going to be transacting this year, just so I know that I spend an extra, I go above and beyond to communicate with them rather than my default kind of communication, if that makes sense. Okay, someone asked a question because I'm a little out of breath. what are your guys' ahas or thoughts on all of that right there? We'll dive into it a little bit more, but
I think it's important to stay in touch. I can share an experience I have. I used to bid big contracts in construction, and there was a large contract, probably a couple $100,000, and I let it slip, and I just didn't. It slipped in my system, and finally, when I realized it was months later, the job hadn't happened yet, and so I had a process for when I would bid a job, I would follow up to see who was awarded the job, and I would have to follow up with whoever within that company. And so when I did the follow up, the company that got it was one of my VIP customers. Been working with them forever. They'll buy everything from me.
yeah.
I called the project manager, and I remember specifically because he was his comment just was like a dagger in your back. He was just like, I was wondering when you were gonna call.
No.
It's like, yeah, I got this PO ready, and you haven't even followed up on this. It's like, huge job. So it's like, that's what's gonna happen in real estate, is you're not gonna follow up, and then the next thing you know, you're gonna see on Facebook that they just bought a new house, right, you know, with whatever realtor that was
Yeah.
working in their neighborhood or whatever realtor was top
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
What do you think, is the priority when you're on the phone with someone? We've talked about like limiting it to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think is a good sort of outline of what you talked about besides?
Yeah. So yeah, besides LTP Mama, is that what you just said? Yeah. In LTP Mama is definitely more so when they've raised their hand and said they're interested in real estate. The Ford script is one that I have always kind of just naturally used, but I'm not as rigid in it. I'm personally just like, I just go with the flow. I do have an objective in mind usually, so it's inviting to an event. It's right, so or it's delivering value in some way. So like I didn't make very many phone calls for our Easter event, but I did send a lot of texts. But if I had made a phone call for the Easter event, it would have been something like, and we actually there's a role play section. So let's do that now. Let's kind of talk about yeah, what the script might be, right? So let's say I'm gonna call Dave, okay? And this is I'll probably talk to Dave exactly how I would talk to Dave, right? Because I have a relationship with Doug. So I'd ring, right, and I'd say, "Hey, Dave, it's Hunter. How are you, dude? I'm doing so good. How you been?
Business I started.
Oh, cool. You keep me busy. Remind me. I think I saw that on social media. You got in, for the sake of this conversation, you got into insurance. That's awesome. How's that been going for you?
Good, all new stuff. You know, you just gotta learn the new ins and outs of the business, but the relationship stuff's all the same.
Heck
So
yeah,
that's good.
heck yeah, man. That's cool. What made you want to jump into it?
I just needed to change.
Yeah.
Just was tired with what I was doing.
Yeah, and remind me, what were you doing before?
I was in highway sales.
Highway sales. Okay, cool, sweet. And then you just decided, like, was it something that you've been thinking about for a while, or you just up and made the decision?
Yeah, like it just wasn't fun anymore.
Hmm.
Just wasn't going good. It was, I worked for the same guy for like 15 years. He sold to private equity.
Hmm.
So it kind of changed the dynamic there a little bit.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's awesome. And so, do you think you'll probably be in this new business for a while? It's what you want to do?
Yeah.
Sweet, dude. That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy to hear that. Hey, I was calling too. Your name popped to mind. My real estate team and I, we're throwing on our Easter egg hunt tomorrow. 20,000 Easter eggs. So yeah, they're red and they're full of candy. I spent a whole day, and it would be a shame if I didn't invite you, because I did spend a whole day stuffing them. So I just wanted to extend the invite. I know you got some kids. Yeah, your kids are they around? You guys want to come tomorrow? Cool. Yeah. Well, it starts right at it starts at 10 a.m. is kind of when we'll be inviting people in, but the hunt actually starts exactly at 1. Right. Go through the details, and yeah, just man, honestly, I'd love to see you. As you remember, real estate's my lifeline, and it's what I do. Just love staying in touch with people. So if there's anything I can do, will you make sure to let me know? Okay, cool. Hey, let's plan on seeing each other tomorrow. Okay. Okay, sweet. Okay. Just like that. I honestly, I would just keep it like, that's where and I'll tell you guys, like, once you just have one good phone call, it fuels you into having another one. Oh, and we'll talk about this too.
The biggest mistake you make with phone calls is trying. I mean, you want to be efficient, you want to come across, but don't try and say, "I'm only going to be 10 minutes."
Yeah.
You're gonna come off rushed. You're gonna come off pushy and salesy, and so just let it be natural.
Yeah.
Be conscious of how long you're spending on there. But if you spend 15 or 20 minutes with somebody, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
worth
The
watching.
quality of the conversation is the other thing too. Do you guys ever feel, I definitely felt like this in the beginning, and I'll have flashes of it too, where it's like the conversation's going and you're leading up to what you called for. It's like, right, like, I know that I want to help them transact real estate, so it's like you feel like I could have easily been like asking Dave back and forth, little banter. Okay, so by the way, here's why I'm calling, right? Like, I try to avoid that as much as possible and just make it just And honestly, it's the change for me has just been just my like energy behind the just, oh dude, awesome, Dave. I'm so happy to hear you're doing well. By the way, hey, I was thinking of you. My team and I were throwing our Easter event tomorrow, and I just thought you'd maybe enjoy it. I know you got some girls. Are you guys doing anything tomorrow? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't let that be this hill I have to climb. I let it just be like I'm just calling my friend Dave and I'm gonna invite him to the event. I've personally always found it, that's the easiest phone call for me to make.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
giving
just
away
calling,
tickets.
like, say you're me, and I've got this list of people that I haven't talked to, some of them in years, on the phone, but like we've exchanged Christmas cards or talked on social media.
Yeah.
Or texted. And I'm calling someone, am I, like, I would just call and, or to chat.
Yes, you should.
And
You should call them and you should apologize for not having spoken with them in however long you haven't spoken with them. You should say, "Oh my gosh, I was just thinking the other day that I haven't talked to you. And I'm trying to stay more in touch with my friends and my close people." And you might even say, depending on the conversation, right? Like I just started up a new business. I would maybe not say, "Hey, started up a new business," and certainly, and that's where, yeah, and so you just say, "Hey, I just really wanted to stay in touch," and then you start asking questions, right?
Towards Christmas as well.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the,
Yeah, certainly. So let's say I haven't talked to Courtney in a long time. Okay, let's say Courtney and I met. I did this. Yeah, I did this a few weeks ago. I sold a girl a couch, a woman a couch. Her name is Cheryl, and I I I don't think that she's probably my SOIA, but I was like, I had a good conversation. I knew she had a daughter that would be graduating from high school, and she probably want to sell a house at some point. So I called her up, and so pretend that I sold you a couch like 3 years ago. Okay, so hey Cheryl, hey, I'm calling. I'm sure. Oh, it could be anyone. Yeah, it could be anyone. Okay. 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 Perfect. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. All right. Ring, ring. You answer. Hey, Courtney. Hey, it's Hunter. How are you? I'm just and let's assume too. Do you know I'm calling you just for context for everyone? So I'm just calling you out of the blue. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So there's a few ways you might approach it. Yeah. I would never. It kind of depends. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna ring you. You say answer. I say, Courtney, it's Hunter, right? And I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm gonna say, hey, Courtney, it's Hunter, right? I'm going to just say who I am, right? Hey, Courtney, it's Hunter. Good. Hey, I know. I was just thinking that the other day that I don't think I've seen you. It's been a few years since I last. Oh, when did I last see you?
oh, it's probably at that football game.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, I haven't even talked to you in 5 years. How the heck have you been? What's new with you? What? What's new? What do you got going on? Yeah. Cool. Remind me how many kids you have again? What are their ages? Or jeez.
How about you? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, just keeping busy with work. I don't know if I'm pretty sure we stayed in touch on social media. I've got my real estate business that I've started up and been running, and it's been keeping me pretty busy. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm sure you've probably stayed in tune with the real estate market recently. A lot of shakeups and stuff. Yeah, it definitely is. But I'm just super passionate about helping people make great decisions in it. Remind me again? And you're in sales, and for the sake of this conversation, you're in insurance, or all right? I just to make. What do you do for work? And pretend you're not an agent.
My job. I think
Oh, that's so cool. And so 10 years, I mean, do you think that's probably where you'll be when you retire? Like, is that what next plan is for you? Oh, that's that's great. That's awesome. Are you guys, yeah, there you go. What are you and your husband doing to prepare for retirement? Have you really? Where have you been purchasing? What have you been looking at? Sweet. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Lehigh's a great place. I actually just purchased out there as well. I love it. Yeah, are you guys actively looking to purchase and sell at this time? Are you guys just kind of, yeah,
Price is fine, we kind of have to discuss a little bit.
cool.
It's not like.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, just one thing that my clients have all told me that they really enjoy is when I stay in touch with them just on what, is going on in the Lehigh area, because I'm really sorry, I just had a brain fart. Yeah, what my clients really appreciate is when I stay in touch with them and let them know, what's going on in the market. So I'd love to make sure that I keep you in the loop if that's all right with you. Yeah. Cool. Well, awesome. Well, hey, Courtney, I really do think you're awesome. Would love to stay in touch with you. I try to just stay in touch with people, especially as I've, started up my business. And by the way, if there's ever anything that I can do for you, real estate related or not, I'd love to just be there for you, if that's all right.
It's a chat.
Yeah, it's so good to chat. Well, I'll plan on, if it's cool with you, I'll just stay in touch and maybe we grab lunch. I'll shoot you a text maybe in like 2 or 3 weeks when it's calmed down a little bit after the, spring break and stuff. And let's grab lunch. That sounds good to you. If I had one, I would. Okay, and then we hang up and done, right? And then what I'd make sure I do is I would, in fact, follow up with her in a few weeks and say, hey, let's grab lunch, probably, right? Yeah. So how'd that feel? Did that feel pretty?
Close friend calling me, this is my worry, that they're just gonna feel like I'm just calling because now I'm doing this, so I need to talk to people. Like, okay, let me give this in context. My husband has a really close friend that they just lost touch after college.
Mm-hmm.
15 years went by and he reached out, and my husband was like so stoked to talk to him, and then halfway through the conversation, like, so I just started selling insurance.
Yeah.
And then, like, to this day, my husband feels bad about it because his friend only called him selling something,
Yeah.
and there was no contact again after that too. So that's probably part of it.
Certainly.
Well, that's why your husband feels jaded, because there was no follow.
Yeah.
That's why. Because I mean, what I would say to do is to play to your strengths. You've been doing investing for how long?
6 or 7 years.
So, like, instead of just saying, somebody says, hey, so what do? You don't just say, I'm in real estate. You say, well, I've had these long-term rentals for
Yeah.
6 to 7 years, and write it out, and practice it, and become comfortable with it. Once you become comfortable with it, you change from like being up in front of the deer and headlights to the I'm calm and collected. I'm not just calling you to sell, I'm calling you to talk, but then I'm going to tell you what's going on with my life too.
Yeah.
I need to feel bad when like the call was not effective if I don't talk about real estate.
No. Yeah, your first call, you might not. It certainly probably people though, they like, I'm curious, like I'll ask what you're up to, right? And you can also kind of come from the point of view as like, I want to know more about their business because eventually I want to support their business, right? And like talk to them. So yeah, you don't need to apologize. Are you guys cool? There's this Brighton Roby, a kid that came to my mind. I haven't talked to him forever. And I was going to call him later today. I'm going to call him right now, if that's cool. So I'm going to not have this recorded though.
He might